Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Jiayanu, Pakhair Agale, Ni hao, Chunasumme, Washmale, Ohio Guzaimas, Guten Morgen, Ola, Poyor, Privyet, Kaifahal, Hale Shuma Chatore, Ahlan Vasalan, Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracia, Swabia, Bali Karaya. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're watching World This Morning alongside Shahzad Hasan Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, before I actually get started and kind of involve myself in any sort of conversation, first things first, for everybody who's out there, we hope and we pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that they're ready to kickstart their day with us. Ladies and gentlemen, it was Eid. Everybody kind of did enjoy. But first things first, I want to, kind of give a prayer for all of those people who kind of missed out on their family members due to COVID, who kind of succumbed to COVID as well, and people who've lost their lives to COVID. You're always in our prayers and you will always be remembered. Not just that, our Kashmiri brethren, ladies and gentlemen, and our Palestinian brethren as well, who kind of suffered through quite a lot, over the past few days as well. It's our sole responsibility, being on television, representative of the media house, that we kind of say what we feel is right, and these barbaric acts by the Israeli forces, ladies and gentlemen, need to come to a halt, and the world needs to come together to make sure that we raise our voices, we raise our concerns about all the vulturistic and the barbaric acts taken place by the Israeli armed forces as well, and that too on kids, families, people who are unarmed, people who cannot even harm anybody out there as well. And everybody needs to kind of remember them in their prayers as well. Now coming down to how everybody's Eid was, we certainly had a good time, obviously, because what I personally decided was that since we cannot go anywhere, well, in fact, I kind of loved the idea that Eid was during a lockdown, and it's because of the fact that none of my family member could actually kind of come up to me and request, hey, you know what, Mari chaliye, hey, you know what, Aptaba chaliye. Everything was shut down. So I was kind of on my bed. I was sleeping. I made sure that, I'm going to recuperate, rejuvenate, and, rest myself so that I'm prepared for all my audiences out there in 46 different countries. And I feel so great and I feel so achieved. It's because of the fact that I was even working on Chandrat, alhamdulillah, and as soon as I got off work, that's the time when I got to know, oh, it's going to be tomorrow. So one way or the other, we hope and we pray that everybody did enjoy themselves and you kind of had a great time alongside their family members, because I had this brilliant idea of calling all my siblings to my place. We stayed together for 2-3 days straight, all the kids, nephews, nieces, everybody was together. We kind of had a heart-to-heart conversation and, got to relax, eat a lot as well. Since it was lockdown, I couldn't go to the gym as well. So I was like, hey, you know what, I'm going to eat and rest and, make sure that whenever the gym's open, that's the only time when I'm going to work out. But we hope and pray that everybody out there, ladies and gentlemen, is doing wonderfully well and they're ready to kickstart their day. So today is 17th of May. Obviously, things are going to open up now, because it was lockdown, it's going to get into an ease kind of situation now. But ladies and gentlemen, we really need to make sure that we have it in our minds all this time that we are going to follow all the SOPs and make sure that, we are not going to harm anybody else. Because unknowingly, God forbid, if someone does not know that they actually have COVID, unknowingly if they're going to see somebody or meet someone, and God forbid if they catch that virus from them, I guess that it's going to be very depressing for that particular person to know that, hey, you know what, I was the reason for somebody getting sick. So please make sure that you don't do that and stay at home, stay indoors. Make sure that all your activities, your unnecessary activities should actually be at halt, and that you're not causing any problem for anybody while you're at home or while you're outside the home as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, talking about COVID, since the time COVID came in, as a pandemic, it was declared a pandemic. I believe that our cell phones have actually helped us a great deal. Not just our cell phones, the internet was filled with information. And while COVID came in, everybody said that it is novel COVID. So when we say novel, it means that nobody knew anything about it, and certainly it was very relatively new for everybody out there as well. But information and technology kind of helped us recuperate with the situation, and it's because of the fact that, imagine, because everybody was in a lockdown, we could order food on our phones, we could do bank transactions, we could do so much more while being at home. We were connected with the world as well. one way or the other, there was a solution. Not just that online learning came in, learning management systems came in as well, where we made sure that, that the education, which is so imperative for the students out there, that it shouldn't be put to a stop. Rather, there should be a system with which everybody can learn something new every single day. So COVID did taught us quite a lot of things, and in fact, how to manage everything while being at home, which I believe is a blessing in disguise as well, because a lot of people do not feel like stepping outside their homes anyways, and they're labeled as lazy people as well. So we do not want anybody to be lazy, but that was the solution we came up with. So today on 17th, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very important day today. We're actually observing World Telecommunication Information Society Day. And when we talk about this day in particular, ladies and gentlemen, there's a theme related to it. There's certain sustainable development goals which rely on this as well. And the theme this year around is accelerating digital transformation in challenging times. This is something which we want to talk about. I'm going to make sure that, I kind of behave like a student in front of professors, because we have professors over here in the studios with us. They're going to let us know what this day is all about and what can we do, how can we accelerate and transform this information society and the way people interact together, the way people come together as well. Now, first things first, because I've spoken about it as well, everybody knows that in Palestine, ladies and gentlemen, Israeli forces have been targeting their media houses. Now everybody can go live on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. So the information sharing is happening. But we want this information sharing to make sure that, it is according to the fundamental human rights as well in the first place, and that anybody and everybody can use or have access to this information, which is the most basic right everybody has got these days as well. So let's see what our professors over here in the studios have to say about this day in particular. Ladies and gentlemen, we are lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be an analyst. He's a regular on our show as well. And, it was an honor early in the morning to receive him. He came in right at the time when I was coming in. But he was, I guess, 10 minutes earlier than me, because I had to go to the makeup and then come up to him as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky that we've been actually joined by Professor Zameer Ahmed Awan Sahab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू.
Guzashta Eid Mubarak.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, आपको भी ईद
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. And alongside Professor Saab, ladies and gentlemen, we are lucky that we've been actually joined by an assistant professor from NUST as well. She happens to be Dr. Aisha Nazuk. Hello, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me on the show.
Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you always. And I believe that, this is the only time when I feel really confident alongside professors and teachers, because when I used to be in my university, I was usually scared of my teachers and professors, and because not knowing what they will actually say. So, sir, today happens to be World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. What is this day all about, and what are we going to do about it?
In a matter of fact, let me go to the historical background.
Sure, sir.
In early days, in 1970s, 76, something like this, an organization was set up,
Okay.
or this institution was established to regulate, monitor, and smooth functioning of the telecommunication.
Okay, sir.
Every country has its own country code.
Yes, sir.
Like Pakistan has 0092.
Yes.
We cannot have randomly.
Okay.
It is monitored and it is approved by this organization.
Okay.
And they are responsible. If some new countries are emerging, they have to allocate the new country code.
All right.
And they are not only allocating the country code, but also monitoring and regulating the telecommunication systems.
All right.
And that is very, very important. Later on, this organization turned into the society, International Telecommunication Information Society, which is doing the same job. In fact, now since 2006,
Yes, sir.
we are celebrating this day regularly, internationally.
Exactly.
And in Pakistan, we also need to create more awareness about this day. And of course, it is in the benefit of the general public to know more about this day and the right of information.
Exactly. That's wonderful. And I would certainly want to dig in a little more as well. But here you said that that regulatory body is kind of monitoring our telecommunication system. Do you think it's safe for somebody to monitor our telecommunication systems? Or is it monitoring in a way that they are actually administering it?
I think we should be positive. It is administering.
Okay.
It is not monitoring. But anyhow,
Yeah.
telecommunication is not safe. Whatever you have information on your internet or your mobile phone.
Exactly.
It is monitored by somebody, and recently there is a big tussle between America and the China
Yeah.
on the 5G.
Exactly.
The reason is that whosoever is selling the telecommunication equipment or monopolies or establishing this monopoly, they control the whole world. For
Exactly.
example, when there was a tussle between India and China on the Ladakh border,
True.
the cameras used in Indian GHQ were in Chinese origin, and they have the access to everything.
That's true there.
So this is the monitoring is there.
Yeah,
always.
it can probably be the reason of next warfare as well. I mean, to be very honest. But you know, let's keep it to the positive side where
Positive
we're talking
side.
about
Yes, yes, yes.
information society and telecommunication transformation. Ma'am, coming towards you, where this year around the theme is accelerating digital transformation. Now, if we speak about digital transformation, ever since the telephones came into being, or for that matter, iPhone came into being, you know, we started from 2G and now we've come down to probably iPhone 12. So the transformation is such that, you know, it's so hard to keep up with that pace that it kind of is difficult for us. But they're still thinking about accelerating transformation. So why do we still need such an acceleration in transformation for information societies? What's the reason behind?
Okay, first of all, I would like to, thank Dr. Zamir Evan for giving a very holistic review of, the historical perspective.
Exactly.
As far as your question is concerned regarding the importance, so I would first of all start from the topic of digital divide that we are experiencing here in Pakistan. The moment we shifted to online learning, there was a lot of students, a cohort of students were complaining they don't have the internet connectivity.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that's the real challenge. If we want to be, information society and develop a knowledge economy, we need to work on internet infrastructure.
True.
If you just look at the little, since I'm a statistician, so I'm bound to look at numbers.
Yeah.
So if you look at the numbers, like internationally, there is a concern that the 40% IT companies, they are owned by USA
All right.
or some private entities like Facebook or Microsoft.
Okay.
So we need to think about developing our internet backbone. And if we can't have an independent internet backbone, at least the national ICT strategy should have some dimension attached to it. I mean, the way you were asking the question, there are certain perils attached to, when people are watching you.
Yeah, obviously.
I would like to, that would be a sort of a informal remark, but I would like to mention a scene from the movie where a girl was sitting and she was sharing something online.
Yeah.
And the mother was like, what are you doing? And she said that it's private.
Yeah.
And the mother said, whatever you do on the internet, nothing's private.
True.
So we need to, at least in our schools, in our parenting, we need to generate this awareness that what are the benefits as well as, the cautious use of the internet.
Exactly.
So we need to finish the digital divide, and we need to, all in all, to develop the knowledge society, there is a major overhaul required in parenting as well as in schooling. I mean, in our schools, I can't see, still I keep on, I have a lot of, nieces and nephews, so I keep on, monitoring. So what's being taught at the school?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, ICT and the internet technology, in the hardcore aspects, they are there. But the softer aspects, for example, the way I mentioned privacy sharing, or to so to say, how to stay away for, let's say, adult content.
Yeah.
So these are the things that we need to tell to our youth.
And we obviously need to convey, and I believe that, ma'am has actually hit the nail on the head as well. But speaking about the divide you spoke about earlier, now, for example, for people like us, who represent urban cities as well, or urban living lifestyles, for example, if we are to move from north towards Karachi, I believe that, everybody is going to get those signals and the internet coverage as well, which is fair enough. But don't you think it will take time for a country like Pakistan to reach out to the rural places as well, far flung areas where, there are no hospitals, but the internet coverage is there. Even in these days, when we speak about Gilgit-Baltistan and certain places where our tourists have been going, they're still very happy about that, okay, we still have a network coverage. But how long do you think it's going to take? Because I even spoke about that it is a fundamental human right for everybody to have access to information and knowledge for that reason. Do you think that it's a divide which has been created, or you think that it's just the mere problem of not being able to making sure that we have such resources at our disposal?
Okay. I would say you have, this time you have shifted the nuclear bomb right on my forehead
No,
by
no,
asking.
that's not how it is. But I just wanted to ask,
Okay,
what's the reason behind this divide?
To dig deeper, first of all, I'll come to the number of years that are required to achieve,
Yeah.
or to circumvent this digital
Exactly.
divide. Since you know that circumventing the digital divide is part of the Sustainable Development Goals.
Exactly.
So one of my colleagues, I like to mention her name, Dr. Saida Batul, she did research on how many years will be required when Pakistan will be able to achieve SDGs all in
Yeah.
all. So I won't go into the details of each goal, but on average 20 to 25 years down the road, Pakistan will be able to, achieve SDGs.
So are you saying that we won't be able to get them in 2030?
I don't want to sound pessimistic.
A few of them, yes,
yeah.
but yeah, not all of them.
Let me
Yeah.
add something.
Sir,
Fazul.
sir.
In fact, in Pakistan, we are not so bad.
Exactly.
We are not the best one. We are not competing with America and the Europe.
Yep.
But among the developing nations, we are still in a much better position.
Alhamdulillah.
The gap is very, very narrow.
Wow.
In fact, under the CPAC, we have an optical fiber linkage with
Exactly.
China,
Exactly.
which will help us a lot in the improving the speed of internet
True.
and the connectivity, and as an alternate source. Usually, or traditionally, till now, we were depending on the undersea cable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And undersea cable, if it is possible to have some damage or some technical problem,
And it
or
does
fault,
happen at times
It
as well.
happens. Once it is broken, we are disconnected from the rest of the world.
Exactly.
Now we have an alternate source, that is optical fiber linkage with China. It will help a lot in Pakistan's IT industry. And
Exactly.
the days to come, the gap between Pakistan and the developed world will be very, very less, very, very little.
Okay, well, that's great. Now, sir, coming down to the point, okay, we spoke about little about telecommunication as well, but let's now come down to information societies. Now, speaking about information societies, I believe that, that a lot of times the information we get over the internet, it's not backed by research a lot of times. And people over here do not know, because they're not habitual of researching, that whether the information they have their hands on is absolutely correct or whether it's not. Even at times when we have to research for the program, the last research we would get from is 2009 or 2010 or 2012. We're not very habitual of researching over here in Pakistan in any ways, and students who haven't been to university, they do not know a word about research anyways. So how do you think that these information societies need to be responsible in order to make sure that the information being provided over the internet for everybody who's out there is absolutely correct, and that anybody can quote it or use it wherever they want, whenever they want?
In fact, we are not worried about this because the same is happening in the developed countries.
Yeah,
Because
that's
in the
true.
developed countries also there are so many fake news, misinformation, or designed narratives.
Exactly.
For example, in Israel, the people of Israel, they believe that Hamas is a terrorist organization.
Exactly.
And they are attacking on Israeli targets.
Yeah.
They are throwing the they are launching they are sending the rocket launchers.
Yeah.
They think they are the innocent. They are not at fault.
Exactly.
And it is the Hamas or Palestinian people.
Yeah.
They are the aggressor.
Yeah.
Because the Israeli government is promoting this fake narrative.
True.
But what is the fact? Due to the social media and mobile phone in everybody's hand, the people in Palestine, they are making the live videos of these Israeli aggression.
Exactly.
And they are spreading all over the world. Everybody outside the Palestine or Israel, they are watching the live streaming, what is happening in Palestine.
True.
And they know who is the aggressor.
Exactly.
But some other countries, sometimes they control the media, they are promoting their own narrative, fake news, misinformation. This is very common in every part of the world.
True.
And nobody among the common citizen or the common people have this ability to go conduct research or verify everything.
Exactly.
Even in the developed world, nobody verify it.
That's true, that's true. I believe that that's a wonderful counter argument, and there's nothing much more to say about it as well, because everybody's kind of at the hands of people who want to kind of misuse information. They're doing that. There's clickbaiting. There's so many menaces within information and knowledge sharing over the internet, that we still are not able to kind of conduct a 100% survey whether how many people do it correctly or how many people use it otherwise as well. Moving on to you, Dr. Saiba, now since we are talking about information societies as well, which I believe have played a wonderful and a tremendous role during the time of pandemic, and it's because of the fact that, you know, the internet and telecommunication actually helped us grow our businesses, made sure that when our kids weren't going to school, you know, we had online learning management systems, where HEC in the first place released a learning management system, and then they said to different universities that if you want to use our learning management system, you probably will have to pay us as well. Which I believe, I'm on the contrary of it. I was like that, you know, I believe that for HEC's responsibility to kind of share it with other universities rather than charging them for that, so that everybody had access to knowledge and information as well. Well, that's a different debate, but you know, this is how telecommunication information societies have helped us. There were WhatsApp groups where they were elderly, you know, they would kind of just send in a message and the other people would go and drop, you know, whatever basic necessities were required at their places. So in a way, obviously the economic did take an impact, but it wasn't, you know, absolutely zero. It didn't come down to a halt and everything kept on moving. Do you have a few suggestions that, okay, you know, we could have used this telecommunication and information in a way where we could have made this world a better place rather than just growing our businesses? Please, your recommendations and suggestions.
Thank you, thank you. So, since speaking on the topic of accountability and information sharing is sort of my own, you know, passion as well.
Wow.
By the way, my doctoral dissertation is about, you know, online disclosures, practices of non-governmental organizations.
Which is why we have you here.
Yeah. So I like to, you know, see organizations and the, you know, public stakeholders interested in what sort of content is being shared.
True.
Regarding the COVID times, I think people who weren't actually using internet, they learned something new. I mean, if I don't go far away, I haven't had the experience of running YouTube channel. So when COVID came in, I thought, why not? And by the way, my nephew actually motivated me that you can do it. It's nothing. So I started running a YouTube channel where I have my lectures and other playlists as well. So COVID is no doubt a blessing in disguise.
True.
And but still there is a long way that we need to cover. If we talk about, you know, the telecommunication, there are some sort of good news as well, but we need to have a road path or you know, some plan ahead that we need to achieve.
True.
For example, if we talk about tele-density, according to PTA recent estimate, 85% of the population, they are covered.
Okay.
But the indicators included are for sort of whether you have a cell phone or not, or a landline or not, or you own a computer or not. But if you talk about mobile enabled, you know, or mobile enabled internet, that percentage is still low.
Very low.
It's somewhere around in 20s, like exactly 24%.
We still have to get packages. Yeah, 200 ka package kara lo, 300 ka kara lo, so obviously, yeah.
So that recalls me of the affordability dimension.
Yes,
so we need to work on affordability. If we, you know, talk about the mobile penetration, India is on the top according to affordability dimension.
That's true.
So somewhere there are different dimensions, like the quality of content. Bhutan is topping there. So we still have a lot to work. What type of content we are offering?
Yeah.
And the way you were talking about the fake news, it made me recall about the terminology, the fancy terminology of mimetic warfare.
Yeah.
Like people are using memes to, you know, generate discourses and the agenda that suits
And bringing
them.
their messages across as well.
Exactly.
Exactly. And you know, I cannot agree more. Thank you very much for saying that, because this reminds me that, you know, we kind of need to talk about people who use that information, sir. Now, for example, me, you and ma'am over here, you know, we use our cell phones every day. We kind of need to have a discourse of how to use this information. So, you know, from that perspective, what would you suggest for people who are out there that, okay, you know, while you're looking for information, while you're looking to connect to other people and, you know, find the facts, what are you supposed to do? So as a user, what are we supposed to do? On this day, let's just raise awareness.
I believe that it is the ethics. First of all, we should not share anything which we are not convinced or we have no source of originality.
Exactly.
We should limit to ourselves first.
Bilkul.
And secondly, when we are getting information on the internet, we need to check the source.
Exactly.
Some of the things are just jokes. Just take it as a joke. Don't take it serious. But if there are specific information, serious information, we need to dig it a little bit more
Exactly.
and reach to the source. And if we trust that source, then we should believe it. Because in the current days, media is used as a tool of hybrid war.
True, sir.
Many countries are promoting their narrative, which is totally wrong. Even that inside the Pakistan, different political parties are promoting their agenda through media.
They have their own media houses now.
Yes,
Yeah.
the media is a tool, and some people use it, some people misuse it. It is up to the people to decide what is right and what is wrong. So we have to educate our masses to make this differentiation.
Exactly, and I believe that, you know, for all of those people who are out there with the service providers, they have this greater responsibility on making sure that there's lesser divide and there's more reach as well, which, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is very important, because this information we use every single day, and how it comes so useful that every day whenever we have to prepare for our shows, we log on to the internet to make sure that we have references from previously whatever happened to, you know, kind of what we're going to share today as well, and then kind of making sure that the kind of information we are providing, or making sure that it reaches out to you, is authentic 100% and that there's no doubt in it. And which is why you gain more audiences, where people are actually now aware that, okay, you know, if we are going to tune into PT World, if it's Shahzad and Shiza program, you know, we need to watch it because they're going to speak the truth. And we want our audiences to kind of look for the internet, look out, you know, if you think that, you know, that the information shared by us is not correct, kind of reach us back as well, so that we can have a correction. And this is the way forward, ladies and gentlemen. And information and technology has actually been a blessing in disguise, I'm going to say it, in these times as well, because otherwise it would have been a very difficult time. It would have been a very difficult day, a single day to kind of spend. Because imagine, you know, 20 years back, if I have to figure out where my father was, you know, I couldn't, because if he's not in the office, that's the only landline number I had. I cannot actually contact him until and unless he actually wanted to contact us as well. But sir, thank you very much for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am, as well. But sir, one last thing, and this is something which you said during the conversation as well, and I'm going to come back to this as well, and want whether, you know, what's your thought about it. For example, you said that, you know, that there was it's kind of a modern warfare as well.
Yes.
And you said that, you know, we have a line which goes under the sea, and now we are actually looking towards China for a fiber optic connection as well. Don't you think that, God forbid, if something goes wrong, obviously, you know, Pak Chin Dosti wong swai, but, you know, changing times can bring in changing trends as well. Do you think that it's better to rely on somebody, or rather than be fully independent in terms of data, information, technology, and telecommunication?
In fact, I was in the Ministry of Science and Technology few years back, and during the time of Dr. Ataur Rahman, we have suggested and struggled hard to have our own system, but the government of Pakistan was not convinced.
Okay.
First of all, there was a shortage of finances.
Yeah.
Secondly, that they believe that while we are getting all the services, internet and all this free of cost, why we have to spend our own money?
Yeah.
That was the wrong approach. Till now, most of our information, our internet are based from the Western world,
Yeah.
and they are monitoring. They are having our data. They are monitoring us very regularly, and of course, with the passage of time, if we tilt toward China, now the optical fiber linkage, and also many people are using the Chinese social media.
Exactly.
I used WeChat, which
Wow.
is 100% under the control of the Chinese government.
Exactly.
So they are monitoring everything, what I am posting, what the people are having interaction with me, the Chinese government knows it.
Yeah.
But before it was American, they know it, and now the Chinese will know it. The absolute solution that we should have our own servers, our
Exactly.
own internet system, our own email
Systems,
accounts,
yeah.
like Gmail, Yahoo. It is not dependable. We should have our own.
And
that will
you
be
know,
based
in
in
that regard,
Pakistan.
we can probably learn from China as well, because that's what they do. They have their own Facebook, they have their own WhatsApp,
Yes,
they have
yes,
everything of their own
yes.
as well. And that's truly the reason behind it as well. But sir, thank you very much for
Welcome.
being with us. Lovely to be in conversation. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us, taking out time. That too right after Eid as well. That truly shows your dedication, and that truly shows our dedication as well. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to head out towards a short break. But once you guys will come back, we're going to make sure that we are in conversation with somebody who can kind of better explain it to us that how was Eid during a lockdown. Let's do this. Good morning. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
हुसैयोनी चैन एक पल नहीं, चैन एक पल नहीं, चैन एक पल नहीं, और कोई हल नहीं। हुसैयोनी हुसैयोनी कौन मोड़े कौन मोड़े मोहार, कौन मोड़े मोहार, कोई सांवल नहीं, चैन एक पल नहीं, चैन एक पल नहीं, चैन एक पल नहीं, और कोई हल नहीं। हुसैयोनी हुसैयोनी
Wow, that was wonderful, ladies and gentlemen, over here in the studios with us. We're very lucky that we have been joined by Mr. Osama Hashmi and Mr. Khubaib Sen. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, Guzashta Eid Mubarak, how are you?
Walaikum salam, I'm fine, and invite you as well.
Thank you very much, Jazakallah. How are you, Khubaib?
I'm fine.
Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you guys over here. And today we have a very different discourse of conversation because we actually wanted to talk about how was Eid during a lockdown. I am very happy of the fact that it was lockdown and that everybody stayed at home and that the number of cases of COVID actually went down, which is obviously a great deal. And I believe that NCOC has done a great job. The way they're doing things, ladies and gentlemen, is commendable, and the world's actually following them. But how was your Eid? What did you do on this Eid?
Well, due to lockdown, this was very difficult to spend all the time at home.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that I don't have any chance to go to outside, I mean to the picnic spots.
Yeah.
So on the first day after saying my prayer, I came back to my home and got to sleep.
Okay.
And I awake in the evening,
Okay.
got my meal. After that, I was thinking that I don't have a chance to go outside, so I took my harmonium out of the packet,
All right.
and I started for the riyaz.
Wow.
And at that time, it was a very great concentration, I spent 4 hours
Riyazing?
for the riyaz. Yeah. So for an artist, this is a very precious time that what he
Exactly.
spends with his instruments.
Exactly.
So this is the thing.
But Usama, obviously, this is something which I went through as well. That obviously, since everybody knows that it was lockdown, we couldn't go anywhere, and it was a blessing for us because nobody could kind of request us. Well, बड़े भाई को जो request करते हैं जी इधर ले जाओ, इधर ले जाओ, ये ले आओ. So obviously, we were saved from that as well. But it was a little stressful, to be at home for non-stop 3-4 days, 5 days, 6 days, and just kind of listening to what your parents have had to say as well, which I believe is a blessing once again. But at times, how much conversation can you have with everybody? Because my siblings were over, the kids were over. There comes a time when you need a little bit of space. You're like, hey, you know what? I know that you guys are guests, and I have 100% respect for you guys. But it becomes a little depressing for you to just stay at home. You're like, okay, after so long, I got a few days off, and I still couldn't go anywhere. So what did you do about that?
Well, I passed the first day, and on the second day, I thought that I should have go to my cousins and some friends. So I took my car and put it on the road,
Okay.
and went to the cousins and friends. So I spent a time over there. Then on the third day, because I'm going for a new track, inshallah, in the next month. So I called my Ustadji, and I told him that we should go to the studio and
Do something
do something.
creative.
Audio and some arrangement for the music.
Yeah.
So that is how we have spent our 3 days.
So one way or the other, I believe that your Eid was kind of very productive.
Yeah,
And there is something I like. I like people who are productive. I like people who take good advantage of the time they have to themselves as well, and kind of come up with something which is going to make their lives and our lives better as well. Because for all of those fans who are out there, kind of expect something from you, they would love it as well. Khubaib, what about you? How was your Eid? कैसी गुजरी आपकी ईद?
ईद अच्छी गुजरी है, लेकिन घर पर ही
घर पे नहीं गुजरी?
घर पे गुजरी है,
घर पे
क्योंकि
तो
लॉकडाउन था तो
वही
बाहर नहीं
वाहिद
जा
आदमी
सकते।
जिसको मैंने देखा जिसकी ईद घर पे गुजरी और ये खुश है, which I believe is wonderful. तो क्या किया आपने ईद के दोनों तीनों दिन?
फर्स्ट डे यही था कि सो के गुजारा है,
Okay.
और सेकंड डे ये था कि उस्ताद जी के पास बैठकर कुछ म्यूजिक के ऊपर बात की।
क्या बात है।
तो बस
और
उसके
आगे जो
बाद-
है अब आपके क्या गोल्स हैं? आप तो पहले भी हमारे प्रोग्राम पे काफी दफा आए हैं।
आगे भी सीख रहे हैं, सीख के बस कुछ ना कुछ बनने का इरादा है बस।
क्या बनने का इरादा? जैन कुछ सोचते तो होगे, जैसे मेरे से बचपन में पूछता था क्या बनोगे, मैं कहता था वालिद बनूंगा। तो आपने भी कुछ सोचा होगा।
एक बहुत अच्छा और प्रोफेशनल सिंगर।
Inshallah, and that's exactly what we want as well. But Usama, coming back to you now, 3 दिन ईद के, you spent your Eid with your loved ones as well. ईदी शीदी दी किसी को यार नहीं? कोई चक्कर नहीं?
Well, I used to take Eid from the elders.
But I believe that you're a fully grown man now, and you kind of need to give away Eidi.
Yeah, when I went to my sis home, so my nephews were around me and they asked, Eid do, na?
Yeah.
So they snatched money from my purse. So
And that's wonderful. I believe that's the beauty as well. I actually did the same with my father.
Yeah.
Because he never kind of gives me Eid. He's like, hey, you know what? You're a fully grown man now, and you really do not deserve Eid, and you work yourself, so kind of go figure it out yourself. So I literally have to snatch it from him. And yeah, the best part is that he does not really mind it, because I only kind of get money from my parents. Either it's on Eid or either it's on my birthday. There are no other days where I can actually get money from my parents, and I believe it's kind of good, because your parents, ladies and gentlemen, then feel great about their son kind of being able to do things on his own, and this is what everybody's parents want. And now I'm going to kind of direct this question to you too as well, because when we talk about music, when we talk about being a musician, when we talk about being a singer, not everybody kind of comes to that standard where we can run a complete household with just the kind of talent we possess. And we really have to do some other things and stuff as well to make sure that we have a good livelihood. And that, I believe, is a very depressing time for anybody who's an artist. You know, may it be a painter, may it be somebody like me, an anchor person, a journalist, or anybody, you know, who really wants to achieve something good, and they have that dream in their mind. They're chasing it constantly, but they're still not getting there as well. So what's your message for all of those people who are out there and who kind of think this way? Because my message, ladies and gentlemen, is to keep at it. One thing which I've learned in my life is that if you want to do something, make sure that you do it every single day with a newer passion, with more dedication, so that, you know, one day, inshallah, you will be there. And alhamdulillah, inshallah, everybody will get there. This is something which I'm telling you for sure. Have faith in Allah Almighty and keep at whatever you love the most as well. What will be your message to everybody who is out there?
Well, I think that in life you must be, you know, you must be having some confidence, and you must have, you know, confidence in Allah as well.
Exactly.
Because when you
that
have,
too in the first place.
yeah, because when there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, I believe on a quotation, you know, very much that every disaster brings an opportunity.
Wow.
So when you are down at one stage, if you strive for the other, you can go upside. So this is the story of the life. you know.
Exactly. And I believe that you wonderfully said it as well. So I'm going to request you guys for one more song as well before we wrap up the show. And ladies and gentlemen, I have another quotation to share over here, and that says that what does not kill you makes you stronger. This is something I've lived by always, and I've always made sure to stay strong within my own heart as well. There will be situations, there will be ups and downs, and people who kind of have this faith within their own selves, who make sure that that their morals are going to stay intact, that their character is going to stay intact through these different times of life, through these different phases of life, are the people who emerge as leaders, people who emerge as talented artists, people who emerge as, you know, somebody who are actually going to be role models for future generations as well. So what are you going to share with us? And, you know, since you mentioned that you're working on a new song, when can we listen to that song? You know, when are you going to release it?
Yeah.
And please share it with our audiences.
Well, this is basically a Sufiana track.
Okay.
And, you know, so we have a good storyboard for that.
Okay.
Some Western beats. So we are going to introduce Sufiana music in a new way, inshallah.
All right.
And inshallah, in the mid of June, we are going to launch it you know, properly.
MashaAllah.
And after that, it will be on air, inshallah.
Yeah, so we want to wish you best of luck, and whenever you want to release it, you have this platform to yourself as well, and please make sure that you kind of get in touch with us, our
Inshallah.
entire team, and we'll have you over. So
So
what
nice.
are you going to share with us now?
Na Jaane Kab Se from Aadat.
Na Jaane Kab Se? Aa jao. Na Jaane Kab Se, one of the most hit songs, ladies and gentlemen, from back in the day. And this song literally made Atif Aslam who Atif Aslam is.
Yeah.
But for everybody who might not know, there was a song before Na Jaane Kab Se, which Atif Aslam released, but obviously people might not know about it as well. So coming down to Na Jaane Kab Se, and for everybody who's out there, please make sure that you write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G. On Dailymotion and YouTube, it's World This Morning. And the fabulous repeat will be at 5 past midnight tonight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. Make sure that you follow all the SOPs. Wear a mask. All right, please take it away.
Na jaane kab se उम्मीदें कुछ बाकी हैं मुझे फिर भी तेरी याद क्यों आती है ना जाने कब से दूर जितना भी तुम मुझसे पास तेरे मैं अब तो आदत सी है मुझको ऐसे जीने में जिंदगी से कोई शिकवा भी नहीं है अब तो जिंदा हूँ मैं इस नीले आसमां